To Lightning Programming. In the last video, we got this basic layer, first layer texture laid in, the basic nodes. Now we're going to start fine-tuning this to make it look good, because it looks pretty crappy right now, and we certainly want it to look good. So here in our materials, we're going to open up our layer A material function, and we notice that what this came with is a bunch of stuff related to metalness, detail normal, and displacement. Well, we're not going to work with displacement at all. I'm not really very fond of it, so I'm going to delete that entirely. I'm going to delete these nodes out of here, and that should get rid of all that connect up. And why are we getting an error on this node? Missing function input, tangent normal rotation angle. Okay, what did I do? Oh, I got rid of too many nodes. Okay, perfect. I didn't want to get rid of those. I do want to pull them down out of the way. Can get rid of that one. I want to pull these down out of the way a long ways, because we're going to start duplicating nodes. But before we do that, we're going to look into some of these things, like layer A metalness. Obviously this is not the texture that they use. I'm going to pull this over here. Let's go take a close look at our Megascans grass texture. Here, let's take a look at this. So here are those textures. Metalness, they've got set to whatever their default is. It's 127 gray, and default normal is set to flat normal map. Okay, so metalness, we probably want to set this to this 127 gray as the default and make it not a parameter. Well, we can leave it as a parameter, I guess, and change it. And detail normal, I'm going to set to that flat normal map as default. So let's go over here and let's start with metalness, and let's pull this down and let's look for that 127. But let's go to view options. Let's turn on engine content. Let's go back over here and try that again. Let's try 127 gray texture on the metalness as the default. Now this one, normal detail, was called flat normal texture. Okay, now we'll have those as the defaults. So now this is set up identically to the way Megascans set up the texture for download. So it's set up exactly the way this is, and I believe probably most of them are the same way. Let's look at damp soil and see what its metalness is set to. We might have to adjust these. It's still 127 gray and flat normal, so they're probably all the same, so we'll just duplicate that. When we duplicate these, we'll get all those defaults. So we don't need to worry about those in terms of the next step that we're going to do, which is to scale the tile, since these are just flat things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these. I'm going to collapse them. You really can't collapse them, can you? I thought you could make them smaller. So I'm going to move these out of this. There's the metalness, and there's this detail normal. I'm going to move them over here. And to give myself a little more space, I'm going to move these over. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to expand this out so that all my textures are in the box. I'm going to move these over here, or maybe we'll just even put them up here in the top right corner and move this stuff below. We just got to make sure that we hook things up correctly when we do this. So I'm going to expand this down a little bit. I know it's hard to see. I'm doing this on a large scale so I can move these around is all. Because I'm going to duplicate them. So we'll swing in here a little bit. All I'm going to do is come here and go Control W, put this here. Control W, put this one here. And Control W and put this one here. And the reason for this is these are going to represent our near and far textures, and we're going to scale the normals a little bit differently than what they're doing here, or at least coming out of here. What we're going to do is go into our tiling, and we see we've got this output rotation angle. That's fine. We've got this output result. We're going to need another output result. So we're going to go Control W and get a second output result. And this one is, we're going to call this one near. And we're going to call this one far. And what we have right here is the UVs. Okay, so we've got this custom rotator, and we're going to duplicate it. What happened? Control W. There it is. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going to plug this into here. And for the moment, we're going to just make sure we know where everything goes. This one goes into this one, and this one goes into this one. And this one here goes into this one. Rotation angle. Okay? We're going to move this down. I'm going to move this down out of the way. All right. Now what do we need to do? It's these two things here that we need to scale differently. Okay, so this is a tiling offset. These are the texture coordinates. By the way, I almost forgot. This needs to be landscape coordinates. Landscape layer coordinates. And that needs to plug into here. And we can delete this. So what do we want to do? We want to scale these. So we're going to put in a couple of multiply nodes up here for the moment. And I'm going to spread this stuff out back a little bit and out. And I'm going to grab these two here and pull them up and around. And we don't want to touch the rotation angle. We want to scale this output. And we want to scale it two ways. We want to scale it here, and we want to scale it here. And it's these two outputs that are going to go into this one and this one. So that this is the near scaling and this is the far scaling. So what we will do is take this A and right click, promote to parameter, and we'll call this near, it's got to be layer A near scale. And this one will promote to a parameter. And this has to be called, we'll do it down here, layer A. I don't get that. Layer A far scale. All right. The layer A near scale I'm going to set to 0.25, and the layer A far scale I'm going to set to 0.05. And those are numbers that probably will work out okay. But now based on this, these UVs are being scaled, but now we have two outputs. We have a near and a far output. And so when we'll save this, when we go back over to here to this, you see we've got the far and the near output. So the near output's on the bottom, nice. The far output's here, and we want to go the far output to our second one, UVs. And the far output also to our second roughness. And I'm going to pull this back a little bit, and the far output, which is the top one here, to this one. So far so good. Now we need to blend these appropriately. So what we're going to do is use a linear interpolate right here between these two. And we're going to duplicate this here, and we're going to duplicate it again here. And what we're going to do is plug this into A and this into B, this into A, this into B, and this one into A, and again this one into B. Now where do we get the alpha from? Well, we get that from a thing called a distance blend, and I'm just going to put it right over here. We'll go distance blend, there it is, and we've got two values, a blend range and a blend offset. So we're going to promote these to parameters, blend range, but we're going to call it layer A blend range, and we're going to promote this to a parameter, and we're going to change its name to layer A start offset. So for default values, I'm going to set the layer A blend range to about 10,000 and the start offset to about -2,000. And then we're going to use this as the blend value for all of these. That into the alpha, put this into the alpha, put this into the alpha. Now we've got our three outputs, so now we can replace them. So this goes into this albedo. This one goes in the same place that this one is going, which is up here for roughness. And this last one here goes into the normal. Metallic roughness, tangent normal. That's the one right there. Okay. So now we have our scaling done that's based on how far away from the particular texture that this is. And we're compiling shaders, of course, so I'll probably pause the video right here. All right, and we are back, and already our grass is looking a lot better. Except it's a bit shiny in places, it seems. We can fix that. We'll add some constants in, but we come up close to it here and we see grass. We get far away and we see a little bit of tiling, but we're going to take care of that. That's patterns in the textures more than anything else, and we're going to cover up some of those patterns a little bit with some things, and we'll break it up too. We won't have our landscape all one texture either. It'll be many different textures. So it's looking good so far. How far in are we? We're 15 minutes in, so I think we got time to do a little bit of another step here to fix things up. What I'm going to do is go over here and hopefully you loaded the starter content. If you go in here into materials, you will find this gold material, gold metal, and it has a really cool set of stuff right here. Yeah, that's got the metallic in it. Okay, I was just curious what that was. It's got an interesting set of nodes right here that they call a macro texture variation, and the idea here is this is just at a very large scale, varying the texture with these different patterns. And we're going to do something with it here to kind of change its strength a little bit and be able to adjust it. But we're going to grab all those, copy them. We're going to go over to our layer A material function, and we'll come up here a ways and we'll paste these in, pull them down here a little closer. And all we have to do to get this is add a multiply node. I'm going to hold M, click, pull this down here, plug it into there, and then take this, not that one, take this output from this lerp, plug it into here, take this and plug it into the albedo, and then we're done. That's all it takes. But I'm going to do something else here. I'm going to add a little bit of a modifier to this so that we can change the strength of it. But we'll do that shortly. Let's go check it out. We are, of course, going to be compiling shaders again. I'll wait a few seconds here. Yeah, this is going to take a bit, so I'll pause the video again. All right, the shaders are compiled, and already we see a noticeable difference. You see the little shadowing and changes in the color from place to place, but it's not very strong. It's kind of hard to see, and it doesn't cover things up very well. So let's see if we can do a little multiplication math here with it. No, we don't want, yeah, this is the one we want. So what I'm going to do, okay, I'm back. No, I'm not going to do any multiplying. What I'm going to do is take this reduce macro contrast part here. I'm going to convert this to a parameter. And I'm going to call this layer A. Why does it do that? Layer A macro variation contrast. That's a good name. We'll save it. And it turned black. So we want to set a default value on it, and I believe their default value was 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and 1. Why? Oh, here's the default value, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and 1. Okay, it's back. I guess it was just thinking for a while. And of course, we're compiling shaders again. Okay, the shaders are compiled, so nothing has changed so far. What we're going to do is go into our material instance, which I don't think I have open. Materials, layer A, landscape, materials. Where's my material instance? Material instance, there it is. So we can pull this over here and go here, and you'll see we've got all of this stuff, and it's under 07 texture maps. And layer A, this one here is our layer A macro variation. So if we were to take this, turn it on, and make this much brighter, or darker. What does darker do? Let's make it a lot darker. Let's make it black and see what it looks like. Oh, let's look at it from up here. Okay, let's oh, maybe we have to say okay each time. Okay, that's adding in some red. Okay, so the brighter it is, the more of this color. So if we turn it all the way up to Turn this to here, all the way up to white. Okay. It's very, very strong variations now. Well, let's play and see what it looks like up close. We got to do something about that shininess. It's pretty bad. Let's do that right now while we're thinking about it. How much time we got? We're 21 minutes in. We'll take care of the shininess real quick on this layer. I see the problem. This would affect all layers. We probably need to, though. So we just go constant. Put that to metallic. Hit save. It's a landscape. There's not going to be massive shininess everywhere, but maybe we'll work on the layer in another video. Oh, there it is. It still looks really shiny. That might be having to do, it probably has to do with this including, it might have to do with this metallicity. Metalness is pretty white. Right now we've got it set to this 127 gray. I'm going to disconnect it and see if that improves it. So I'm just going to disconnect this. Metalness. Doesn't say that it's compiling shaders, but it should be. We need to save that. We need to save that. And we need to do a save all. Well, isn't that interesting? Oh, okay, that came back. Still looks very shiny. I have the roughness and the, you know, I've done this before where I hooked up the wrong darn nodes. This is roughness, and it's going into roughness. This is normals. It's going into tangent. Oh, we've got an error here. Oh. Metalness. It didn't like that. Metallic not being hooked up. I have to look into that. I'll look into the shininess. The shininess. Well, let's hit play real quick. Take a look at it without the sun glaring at us. It's looking pretty good. Looking interesting. Variations, see, there's where these variations are coming in. You can see them here. Variations in the color that we put in. All right. So I think that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.